Okay, I'm going to use my transformations again. This time my b is not factored out, and it has to be factored out for me to graph my function accurately. So I'm going to start that way. So f of x is equal to negative 2 x minus 2, negative would make the positive 4, plus 1. So this is going to be a reflection over x, and then I'm going to half, or I could think about negative halving. The negative halving is going to cause the reflection over my x-axis. So reflect over x, then negative half the x values. Then I'm going to move to the right 2. Then I'm going to move up 1. So if I'm negative halving the x values, I want to pick some smart points to think about changing. So in my original, I'll go with black, I would have the point 0, 0. I would have the point 2 doesn't help me, and I'm thinking of evens because I want to negative half them. But the point 4, square root of 4 is 2. For 16, the square root of 16 is 4. So I skipped over 9, 3 because 9's not an even number. So I'm thinking about these points when I'm doing these things. I can think about taking an original xy point, and then by applying these transformations, so I've got my x values, I'm negative halving them, so x over negative 2, and then I'm moving to the right 2, so I'm adding 2, again the opposite of what we see. For my y values, reflecting over x means that I'm making all my y values negative, and then I'm adding 1. So I've got the point 0, 0. That's going to turn into 2, 1. So 0, 0 becomes the point 2, 1. The point 4, 2. So 4 turns into negative 2 plus 2 is 0. And then 2 becomes negative 2 plus 1. So that's negative 1. So I've got 0, negative 1 as my next point. 16, 4 turns into negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6. 4 turns into negative 3. So negative 6, negative 3. And here is our new graph. So if I look at this graph, I've reflected over the x-axis, that's true. I've reflected over the y-axis because of this negative. I've halved my x values, so I've taken this and I've done a horizontal shrink, so that's true. And then I shifted it to the right 2, so that's what brought us back this direction, and up 1. So looking at this, I could say my domain and range. So my domain, let me take this and shrink it down a bit. So my domain is my x values. So I'm going from negative infinity to positive 2, which is included. And my range, from negative infinity, my maximum value is 1. All right, so there's my domain and range. How would I find it without first graphing? Well, I know that the only thing I can put in the square root is a positive number. So I would start by solving the equation of negative 2x plus 4 has to be greater than or equal to 0. Solving this equation, I would have negative 2x has to be greater than or equal to negative 4. This implies that x is less than or equal to positive 2. That's what I've got here. Then I would plug this in to find my y value. So f of 2 is going to give me 0 plus 1, which is 1. And if I wanted to, I could test another value to know which way it's going. I know it's going down, so that this implies the max because I have my a value. A is less than 1. Therefore, sorry, a is less than 0. A is a negative number. Therefore, 2, 1 is the max. All right, so that's how we would do it without graphing it first. You could do both of these things to help check yourself as well.